The deeper people looked into Jeffrey Epstein's world, the darker the accusations became, with claims of unexplained deaths, terrified families, children allegedly being threatened, and even federal officers being manipulated to protect powerful figures. According to stories now being discussed online, comedian Katt has spoken about the silence surrounding the case, questioning how millions of documents and years of allegations still resulted in so few consequences for those connected to Epstein. One of the earliest women to report Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to authorities was Maria Farmer back in 1996, yet her warnings were allegedly ignored and buried away. Maria later described feeling completely dismissed by investigators, saying the experience left her frightened and hopeless. After speaking out, she claimed Maxwell's retaliation and intimidation forced her into hiding and
Originally, it started with things like, I'm going to burn your art, and then I'm going to burn your career, and then I'm going to burn you and the house you live in. And then it was, oh, be careful crossing a street. You can get shot in the back of the head. They were threats against my life. And I told the FBI this.
Many victims connected to Jeffrey Epstein claimed they were pressured into silence about the wealthy and powerful figures surrounding him, while prosecutors argued that Ghislaine Maxwell played a central role behind the scenes by recruiting young girls and helping maintain control over the operation. Court evidence, including emails, flight logs, and financial records discussed during investigations, was used to support allegations that Maxwell helped organize and conceal Epstein's activities for years. Some online discussions and former associates have also claimed that victims and their families felt intimidated or fearful about speaking publicly, although allegations about unexplained deaths remain unproven and highly speculative. Despite Epstein's death and Maxwell's
After abusing these little girls, they would then stalk them for the rest of their life and continue to verbally assault over the phone and just in person and anywhere that they could find them. They would follow these girls around for the rest of their life. Epstein's people continued to find her and would have tabs on her, calling her numbers to threaten her and continue to harass her for the rest of her life. She said that since the threats began, there have been 4 to 5 close calls where she was almost run off the road. Multiple cars, not just one, multiple.
There have been disturbing reports and online claims surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's properties, including Little St. James and his ranch in New Mexico, where some people have speculated that victims may have been buried in secret locations. According to media reports, investigators at one point examined claims connected to Epstein's New Mexico ranch, after information allegedly surfaced from a former staff member suggesting that 2 girls could have been buried near the property. However, many of these allegations remain unverified, and no confirmed evidence has publicly proven that bodies were discovered there.
And a group of lawmakers
Even
tasked
so,
with finding
the
those
ongoing
answers say
investigations
they're
and
building the
unanswered
team to do
questions
it.
surrounding
News 13's
Epstein's
Jessica
network,
Barone is live in
his
the
associates,
Newsplex with that
and what
story.
allegedly took place
The
at his
Truth
properties
Commission was
continued to
established
fuel
during
intense
this
public
year's
scrutiny
legislative
and
session to
speculation years
investigate
after the scandal
Epstein's
first
activities
exploded into
and
the public
ties in New
eye.
Mexico. Democratic Representative Andrea Romero is one of the members of the commission and says she's confident about what they'll accomplish.
The Truth Commission is set up to bring justice to survivors, to get an official government record around what happened at the ranch.
A sprawling property in Santa Fe County, now infamous over allegations it may have been a hotbed of sex trafficking and abuse. The mystery surrounding what went on at Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch and who was involved has left the country demanding answers. That's why New Mexico lawmakers created the Truth Commission during this legislative session. Now, that group says they're currently building a team of legal experts to conduct their investigations. Representative Andrea Romero is one of the members of the Truth Commission. She says they've opened a request for proposals to hire legal experts who will comb through thousands of
I'm heartened by the idea that having a full slate of folks working with us through this investigation, we're going to have things to report by the end of the year. The question is, if we need more time, going into the next session, can that be granted if needed?
Probably. The newly formed Truth Commission was created with the stated goal of bringing justice and answers to survivors connected to Jeffrey Epstein's ranch in Santa Fe, a massive property that has become infamous because of allegations that abuse may have taken place there for years. With many questions still unanswered about what allegedly happened at the ranch and who may have been involved, lawmakers in New Mexico pushed to establish the commission during the legislative session in hopes of creating an official public record of the events tied to Epstein's network. Representative Andrea Romero, one of the commission's members, said the group is now assembling a team of legal experts and investigators who will review thousands of documents, testimonies, and records connected to the case. Supporters of the effort say they are encouraged by the possibility that survivors may finally receive long-awaited recognition, accountability, and a transparent investigation into one of the most disturbing scandals in recent history.
Welcome back and Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Breaking news coming in, some sad news to share. We're learning this from the New York Post, several other outlets reporting this as well. Virginia Giuffre, the most prominent victim of the late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, took her own life on Thursday. This is just weeks after she made headlines for saying that she had days to live after she claimed to have been hit by a bus. A statement given to NBC News was quoted as such from the 41-year-old's family. It says, "It's with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking." The New York Post says that Giuffre took legal action against billionaire financier Epstein in 2015, alleging that she was sexually at age 16 after his ex-lover and convicted Madam Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her from her job as a locker room attendant at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The mom of 3, according to the Post, also alleged that she was forced to have sex with disgraced Prince Andrew 3 times when she was 17, including at Epstein's Little St. James Island in New Mexico and in Maxwell's London home, where a notorious photo of her with King Charles' eldest brother was taken. The Post says the allegations became the biggest scandal to rock the royal family in a generation. Again, hearing of the sad news just within the past hour, Virginia Giuffre, the most prominent victim of late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, taking her own life on Thursday. It was announced on Friday, her death. She was 41 years old, her family confirming this.
Then she comes out publicly and says, "It was intended to be a private message. My excuse, thank
Again?
you." No, just on that, I have 5 days to live. And then a month later, or how about 3 weeks later, she's dead by suicide. Nothing about this story makes any sense whatsoever, any more than I'm expected to believe that Epstein killed himself. She also previously had tweeted, "If ever I'm not suicidal," although I think whenever someone takes to social media to say that unironically there's something going on, she posted a while back. We were on the cusp of Epstein documents being released, seeing clients on that list. Virginia Giuffre is the most credible of the last of the living witnesses, the last public of the witnesses. And instead of the release of the documents, we have the death of the most prominent living testament to the horrors of the Epstein, Ghislaine, Prince Andrew allegedly human trafficking ring. So none of it makes any sense. I don't believe that she took her own life. People are going to say whether or not she's even dead. If she wants to disappear from the face of the earth, this is how you do it, because maybe she just wants to not deal with this anymore. But I won't believe ever that she deliberately took her life.
One of the most well-known accusers connected to Jeffrey Epstein was Virginia Giuffre, who became a central figure in exposing powerful individuals linked to Epstein, including allegations involving Prince Andrew. Giuffre publicly accused Epstein and others of abuse and provided testimony and photographs that fueled worldwide scrutiny of Epstein's network. Over the years, she also spoke openly about fear, intimidation, and the pressure she felt while pursuing legal action against influential figures. Online discussions have circulated claims that she faced threats and warned publicly about attempts to silence her, including a widely shared post in which she stated she was not suicidal and feared harm could come to her or her family. However, many of the more dramatic claims circulating online about mysterious incidents and her death remain unverified or heavily disputed, and authorities have not confirmed any conspiracy surrounding those events. Even so, Giuffre's role in bringing global attention to Epstein's connections and helping push investigations forward remains one of the most significant parts of the entire scandal. As more court filings and documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell became public, allegations began spreading that Maxwell may not have acted alone in efforts to protect influential people tied to Epstein's circle. Reports discussing emails, flight logs, and legal filings have fueled speculation that powerful associates and celebrities may have benefited from confidential agreements or sealed information connected to the investigations.
Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Another name is Harvey Weinstein. Allegedly, Harvey Weinstein was working for Epstein and helping him recruit more victims. Katt has actually referenced Harvey Weinstein multiple times and hinted that Weinstein wasn't at the top of the ladder and instead was reporting to someone else. He recently revealed that this person might actually be Epstein.
It's a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment has not existed throughout history.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if I was going to run some global power organization, I would try to co-opt every single leader, try to suck them in, offer support, bring them out to wherever the fuck I have my big ass meetings, fly everybody in private jets to talk about the climate crisis.
All organizations have to follow the same rules.
Yeah, that's wild.
Recruitment is an important facet of all. Like,
we have to get some young global leaders.
Well, understand, this is the only reason that we can talk about these big Illuminati-like entities at this period of time. Is just because of time. Like, they aged out. Like, you can't get in new, so everybody got decrepit over there, and they can't exchange, really.
Debate surrounding Ghislaine Maxwell intensified after claims surfaced in legal filings suggesting that other alleged associates connected to Jeffrey Epstein were never charged or publicly identified, leading many people online to question whether influential...
Ninth time coming to my house. The problem was this time they came to my office and took my kids from an office. Not from my house, from an office. So now when I can't have my kids at my office...
That's an issue.
I must be the most terrible black dude. Because here's the whole thing. You're going to charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies? Yikes.
Now,
Katt Williams has claimed that after he refused to follow powerful figures in the entertainment industry, he was allegedly blacklisted, threatened, and pressured to stay quiet. Williams has also suggested in interviews that attacks were directed toward his family and children, though many of these allegations remain his personal claims and have not been independently verified. Katt Williams has talked in interviews about pressure in Hollywood and claims he faced being pushed out when he refused to follow certain...
In order for the type of ratings we need and attention to be on this thing. See, what I'm saying is In business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses.
But think about what you just think about what you just said. That's extremely thoughtful and powerful.
There are a few important corrections to keep this grounded in verified information. Ghislaine Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year federal sentence after being convicted in 2021 for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein in the sexual exploitation of minors. She is in custody under the U.S. Bureau of Prisons, and while she has been transferred between facilities, there is no confirmed evidence that she is living freely or being treated outside standard federal procedures. Claims about high-level political visits, special treatment, or sudden transfers to reward-like conditions are not supported by official records or credible reporting. Prison assignments in the U.S. can change for routine administrative reasons, security classification, facility capacity, medical needs, or behavior assessments, and minimum security camps do exist within the federal system, but they are still controlled, monitored correctional facilities. As for allegations of ongoing threats, secret control, or special influence being used from inside prison, these are speculative narratives circulating online and have not been substantiated in court filings or government investigations. Maxwell is incarcerated.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
The worst misinformation, misinterpretation of documents, and social media speculation that often spreads faster than verified facts. In high-profile cases like those involving Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, large volumes of records, flight logs, and contact lists were released, and people's names can appear in different contexts without implying wrongdoing. That's why it's important to rely on confirmed legal findings rather than online claims, especially when no charges, investigations,
Almost out of time. I do want to ask you about Ghislaine Maxwell, who was, of course, convicted in 2021 for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein traffic his victims. In July, you interviewed her in Florida, where she was serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison. Just a week later, Maxwell was moved to a more permissive prison camp in Texas. Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison Security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Miss Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her. And the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life. So the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety. And so she was moved. She is in federal prison. She was in federal prison before. She's in federal prison now. She's doing 20 years because she was convicted. And the fact that she might be moved to another institution tomorrow if security requires it. And that's true of any federal inmate across this country.
Maria Farmer reported Epstein to authorities early on, and she has said her concerns were not properly acted on. Jean-Luc Brunel was arrested in France and died in custody in 2022, officially ruled a suicide, though online speculation
There's an FBI file
surrounds it.
that says
Claims that he was
one of
ignored
Epstein's,
after offering immunity deal.
It says what appears to say BFs, best friends perhaps. Jean-Luc Brunel has, quote, helped get girls. He is wanting to cooperate. And it goes on to discuss a plan for that and that he's hired a lawyer and how that would work. And so these are notes that date all the way back to a period where Brunel was believed to have considered cooperating. If you haven't heard of him, if you haven't followed this case as closely, he's one of the key officials because he held himself out as a kind of modeling scout. He did, and that's debated over whether he was actually a alleged worker, but that was one of the tools they would use. He went into businesses that had arrangements with Epstein. He was on the flights a lot. So his name was one of those that had been around before.
We're also Some emails and documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein do show communications with high-profile individuals, but many names are redacted to protect privacy, victims, or unrelated third parties. However, the idea that hundreds of thousands of files are being hidden to protect elites is ***.
Responsible won't be outed.
Question. Which one do you prefer, lewd and lascivious conduct or procuring money? I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct. I would prefer lewd and lascivious conduct with a if possible. That exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell on May 23, 2008 is part of some 18,000 emails from Epstein's personal Yahoo account obtained by Bloomberg News.
The emails, which suggest the inbox was most active between 2005 and 2008, include messages spanning 2002 to 2022. Epstein died in 2019, and emails received after that are largely spam or marketing offers. Overall, the emails offer a raw look into the disgraced financier and world.
While this inbox wasn't the only one he used, the newly uncovered emails do suggest how central Maxwell was to his life. Something that contradicts her telling of events. She's characterized herself as a former girlfriend and property manager for Epstein, not someone with eyes into his vast influence machine or sex. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence for conspiring with Epstein to. Maxwell was central to curating Epstein's inner circle, according to these emails. In some emails, she's organizing visits with the likes of Sergey Brin and his then-girlfriend Anne Wojcicki.
There is no verified evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was silenced to protect a global elite network, or that there are millions of hidden files proving such a system exists. In the case of Ghislaine Maxwell, no credible or confirmed interview supports the viral claims that Epstein was killed or silenced to protect others. Official investigations and court records only confirm her conviction for assisting Epstein in abuse and trafficking crimes. Large document releases do exist, but they mainly include flight logs, emails, and court discovery material. They do not.
News alert: the Department of Justice just dropped last month's jailhouse interview with Epstein Madam Ghislaine Maxwell. And it's a doozy. First, she doesn't think Epstein killed himself.
So you think he did not die by suicide, given all the things we just talked about?
I do not believe he died by suicide, no.
And do you believe that, do you have any speculation or view of who killed him?
No, I don't.
And what about Epstein's infamous client list? Did he even have a list?
You never observed, or you never saw any sort of list or black book or a list of individuals who, linked to certain masseuses or
Absolutely
anything
not.
like that?
Absolutely no. There is no list. There is no, I'm not aware of any blackmail. I never heard that. I never saw it, and I never imagined it.
The list doesn't exist. So flight manifests don't exist. The surveillance tapes don't exist. The bank records don't exist. Well, what about Trump? The media spent the last couple months trying to smear him as Epstein's predator pal.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
And did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world?
Absolutely never. In any context.
A good portion of the interview focused on Bill Clinton. Author Daniel Halper told Primetime Clinton was romantically involved with Maxwell. Would Ghislaine sell out her old flame? And she was asked about Bill and said he never did anything inappropriate and that Bill never went to Epstein's island. But Epstein victim, Virginia Guffrey, who's now deceased, said in a deposition she saw Clinton on Epstein's island with two other women. So it's a she said,
There is no verified evidence that Jeffrey Epstein left a suicide note.
Note allegedly written by Jeffrey Epstein has been kept locked up in a New York courthouse for nearly 7 years. That's according to new reporting from the New York Times. The report alleges Epstein's cellmate found the note in July 2019 when the convicted offender was found unresponsive in his cell with cloth around his neck. Epstein survived that incident and accused his cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, of assaulting him. Records show a week after that accusation, Epstein told officials he had no issues with Tartaglione and felt safe with him. Epstein was found dead weeks later in what was ruled a suicide. The Times reports Tartaglione recalled the note saying, "Time to say goodbye." The note was left out of any investigation into Epstein's death due to being sealed as part of the cellmate's own criminal case. It was not mentioned in the official investigations into Epstein's death. The Justice Department tells the New York Times the agency has not seen the note.
According to statements made by Katt Williams and similar online commentary, some people believe the case involving Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell is part of a much larger system involving celebrities, secrecy, and possible cover-ups. These discussions often mention intimidation, hidden files, and theories about victims being silenced. However, it's important to be clear. These ideas are *** claims and interpretations circulating online ***, not facts proven in court or confirmed by official investigations.